Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie and welcome to day 1 of the latest update for EVE Echoes, The Sleeper. Today, August 3rd, 2022, NetEase have released the Sleeper update in celebration of 2 years of EVE Echoes. 2nd anniversary, oh yeah, and what an epic level patch this one is. It's not without its own problems to me personally. Those of you who have already jumped in before watching this, I'm sure you already know what my big complaint is going to be, but even then it's a personal complaint. So what I'm going to do in today's lesson is basically take you through everything you need to know about this update. If you're not much of a patch notes person and you want to get more physical and hands-on with things, this is the video for you. We're going to go through absolutely everything unless I forget something. Therefore, this is going to be a fairly verbose video. I think it's therefore best if I just ask you kindly, please take this brief moment to hit like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already, then we'll jump right in. So, today the Sleeper has gone live, and the first thing you might notice is some really cool new music when you're on the title page and when you are in stations as well. The second thing you may notice is there has been a graphical update recently. I kind of missed a lot of this in videos. It's not part of this update, but things are looking a little bit spiffier here in game. And then there has been a massive UI overhaul, user interface overhaul, which I'm sure you've already noticed here with the text and chat in the bottom left. It is a little bit smaller, but I actually personally prefer it. It's neater and easier to read for me, though I know others may have a different opinion there. Definitely, I do agree that there should be some kind of way to actually apply a scaling to that. Unfortunately, at this point, there isn't. So there's going to be your first mini complaint. But I love the way the chat looks, but I understand others are going to have difficulty reading it. Hopefully, you'll get used to it. Hopefully, if not, more hopefully, perhaps, NetEase will actually apply a patch that allows you to scale the font. That would just be so useful. Anyway, obviously on logging in, you're going to have a load of new mail, and my goodness, there's a whole load. So other than ones that are sort of more personal, there is the hello one, which gives you a whole load of Genesis Neural Compiler clone bound here. These are used for upgrading implants, which we'll get to in a moment, but we're just going to claim these. That's again more personal, Maintenance support rewards, 5,000, obviously. Activation code reward, 200,000. If you haven't already, go decode the message, then head to the usual gift grab website. You can get yourself 200,000 skill points for doing that. Maintenance delay compensation. Actually, the server came up early from what I saw, but hey, I'll take 40,000 skill points, thank you very much. So, load of stuff there already. Secondly, if we then head to the event tab, either way in the main menu or here, we get this beautiful Sleeper artwork. You can see some of the Sleeper ships in the background, along with supposedly a Sleeper sort of in front of you here. Again, if you're not familiar with what the Sleepers are in the lore, in EVE Online at least, they are basically descendants of the ancient Jove race that decided that it was better for them to upload their consciousness into kind of a mainframe, a simulation, so that they could basically do things 5 times faster, more science, more progress, so on and so forth. And the actual Sleeper ships are basically the remnants of that ancient empire fighting to defend them. Anyway, in the event tab, first things first, at the very top there are now 2 functions, daily events and Sleeper. So please do not forget your daily events. We have the navigator program back. If you purchase 499 Aurum, you will automatically unlock this. You don't spend the Aurum on this, so you can buy the Aurum and spend it on other things, but just buying 499 Aurum will open this, which then allows you to, on a day-to-day basis, get additional skill points. You get more the earlier your clone is, so the newer your clone is. It's scaled, so here you can see I'll only get 1.4 million skill points, nearly 1.5, whereas other people will get more than that. I think the maximum you can get is 3 million, basing on that, so it's designed to be better for new players. Obviously, you've got your daily supplies, which you can log in and grab. I still grab these every single day. And then we have the cumulative top-up. So again, as you're topping up Aurum, you will gain these rewards. We have a secret trafficking decoding credentials key, which you can use to open some of the secret trafficking containers. You'll have 3 of those. You can then get yourself 3 million Lazarus units for respecking. And then finally, a Navigator exclusive supply crate, which again can give you any of the items here, which are pretty cool stuff. It's some useful bits and pieces just as a thank you for topping up. Now, annoyingly, this red dot never seems to want to disappear for me anymore, but we'll go and keep going past that. Everything else is pretty much as you would know it. So let's get to the interesting stuff, right? Let's tap onto the Sleeper tab here at the top. And the first thing you're going to get is this Awaken tab. Beautiful artwork again, and an idea of everything that's around. Now, we're going to go through these piece by piece, basically, in this video, but it's a quick way to jump through if you want to check certain things out. We'll be coming back to it. Now, the first one that really stood out to me is the Slumbering Galaxy. Now, Slumbering Gallery. And this, my goodness, I wish I had this music so I could play it for you right now. I love the Sleeper music, like genuinely adore the Sleeper music. I was playing it earlier and my wife was like, I could fall asleep to this. This is just stunning. This is awesome. Then I went to Beyond the Sky. Now, when they did the teaser for Beyond the Sky on Twitter and all of that, their sort of like 10-15 second snippet of it, I was okay with it. It just didn't really impress me. I preferred Infinity from last year. Now that I've heard the full thing, oh my goodness, I need this song like yesterday on my playlist. It is beautiful. I also need the lyricless version that plays when you're in menus. Do note that if you're playing Beyond the Sky, if you like hit play here now, it will start to play. If you're in menus, you just get sort of a more subdued version of it. If you close out of the menus, it will start to play the lyrics and everything as well. So that is worth remembering if you want to experience the full thing. Interestingly as well, you can also, with this little gear at the bottom of the list, set as theme, and as you do stuff in game, you're going to unlock more of these that you can then listen to and set them as your theme. I'm going to keep the standard Sleeper one set because it is so chill and I love it. Then we have Way Out of Sleep. Now, Way Out of Sleep here is basically all the missions and encounters and dormant things that you've been doing in the past. The more of those that you do, the more stuff you will unlock here. And as you can see, it does take a little bit of time to load, but you can claim some of these rewards as you go through this sort of mini event and start doing the different missions. Like here, you can see complete any 7 missions and watch the story of Desolate Land, and you can just kind of go through these different mission arcs, and those are found in news encounters. There is, of course, information about the voyage ceremony. I'm not going to go into that because it's not really relevant. And then there are daily login rewards across the next 7 days. Now, if you are an alpha user, then of course you're going to get a whole ton of skill points here, plus some supply crates. If you have Omega active, you get some nanocore materials and these discount coupons. Now, this one here, as it says clearly, 100 discount coupon on a purchase of 500. So if you're buying 500 Aurum, you actually only pay for 400, and so on and so forth. So you buy your Aurum first, you then apply these in the store in order to essentially discount any of the purchases that are for Aurum. And as you go further on this, on day 3, it struggles to open these for some reason. Some of them do, some of them don't seem to. There we are, 480 discount coupon on a purchase of 2,000. So if you're buying something that's 2,000 Aurum, you can get 480 off it. And as far as I'm aware, these do stack, and they're also just minimum boundaries. So if you're buying something for 2,200, then you will be able to use that 480 Aurum discount. This is an interesting system, and it's not what I'm angry about in this at all. I quite like this. I think it's an interesting and innovative way to basically give players the option to buy things, and the store does have some really cool stuff in it. Finally, for this menu then, we have the Omega Special Deal. You might remember that this was the whole thing that you kind of got your Praxis, your Gnosis, and your Sunesis, plus a few other skill points and things as you went along. They have now expanded this out, and it doesn't seem to have clicked across yet for me, so I might need to grab some more of these in future in order to get some of the other bits and pieces, including the Praxis 2, and this actually doesn't look bad at all. If we have a look through on this, you can see that it gets a bonus here, 25% large turret damage, 25% large missile torpedo damage, 50% drone damage and drone EHP, and 25% reduction to the scanner radius and minimum scan radius. It's not overly great in its slot layout. 6 low slots is pretty nice, 4 mid slots is versatile, 5 high slots, I need to actually get this and fit it and try it to really be able to comment on that, but 5 high slots and 4 drone tubes. If, like me, you're skilled into drones and another weapon system, that's not bad at all. So I'm looking at those folks who have been flying things like rattlesnakes, or any of the drone ships, in fairness, anything that uses large drones. If you've got large drones and, say, large missiles, this is going to be actually a surprisingly useful ship for you. Or if you've got large drones and large lasers or large railguns, any kind of mix will work, because as you can see here, advanced large laser operation gives up to 25% additional large laser damage and a 50% reduction to the capacity need. Advanced large missile torpedo is a 25% additional damage and then a 25% explosion velocity boost, which is huge. That is like the Typhoon. That is well worth it. That's just incredible on its own. Advanced large railgun, again, 25% large railgun damage and 25% large railgun tracking speed. That does certainly seem to favor large snubs, but I guess you could go with the rifled as well. And large cannons, 50% large cannon accuracy fall off, 25% additional damage. Very, very useful here, again, for auto cannons. And again, 25% drone damage, 50% drone optimal range, and all the scan resolution and flight velocity down the bottom there. And the rest of its stats aren't terrible either. It is a battleship. It's fairly slow. Okay, that's a lie. It's incredibly slow, but it's actually got surprisingly good agility from what I was looking at earlier, which should help it warp a little bit faster. And the fact that you're getting all of those bonuses to damage there, and that's on top of the roll bonuses, means this actually looks pretty exciting. And if you're subscribed for 1080 days or more, you also get the Afterglow of Deathcore, which just adds all this additional stuff to it, so you can pimp it out a bit more and do other stuff with it. The Praxis 2 genuinely looks really nice, and I can't wait to grab that. Other than that, though, again, there's another 2 million skill points there, another 3 million further on, a bucket load of Lazarus units, some gift IP, and some other crates in place there as well. Of course, the event menu's all very exciting and all, but, well, there's a lot more interesting stuff, right? So we're not going to look at the ceremony feature. We can ignore that. We will look at the Dormant realm and the other stuff, implants, in just a moment. I am going to go to the store first of all, teasing you with that bit. So now the store itself has actually got some really cool new changes. So for example, if you were in the part, well, I think it's under regular sales, pilot service here, these duo bundle gifts along the top, if you have previously purchased these, they are now no longer sold out. They have been restocked. You can buy them again. Great way to get yourself a whole load of Omega Duo for the next year. Remember, that's going to tie in quite nicely with some of the other stuff as well, with that Omega program that I've just shown, getting the Praxis 2. Excellent opportunity there for you to get some other bits and pieces. And if we go back to the bestseller combo though, under hot, there's a couple of new items here I won't go through. You can have a look at them and see. But then we have the Dormant Realm Exploration Supply. This is part of the event. And this is where things get quite interesting, because if you want to just buy yourself one of the new implants, we'll talk about those in a moment, then there is a standard Implant Opt Box, which gives you your choice of one of the purple ones here. You'll see standard Opt Implant. You can choose any of these. Again, we'll talk more about implants in a moment, along with some neural compilers. And then for 2,750 Aurum, well, we have the advanced version, which give you these orange versions. Now, for me, implants aren't a huge thing at the moment. I think they are fantastic to the game, but personally, I'm not going to be using many of these because I'm not a huge combat pilot. I'll be looking at the cannon ones for Silent Rose, and I will look at the missile ones for Benzie as well, but we'll see. Other containers here, you get like your experimental compiler supplies, which give you the materials there for upgrading nanocores, not nanocores, sorry, for implants. Random basic general, again, if you're not sure what you fancy, you can just kind of grab one of these. And there's some interesting stuff here that we will talk about in just a moment with implants, but those could be worth buying if you've got the money and just really want to jump in on implants quickly. Weekly featured is what it usually does, and then we have the popular nanocores. Now, this was my slight worry during the patch notes video, that these nanocores were going to be available for Aurum only. That's not strictly true. You can theoretically get these without Aurum. It's just a lucky supply chest, which is not great. Like, it's really, really not a great thing. Like, you don't know which one you're necessarily going to get. Like, here you've got the faction battleship one, here you've got the frigate one, and again, if you really, really want the frigate one, you can theoretically risk 300 plex to try and get it out of this crate, but there's a lot of other stuff here that you might get instead. It's, you know, and being purple nanocores, they are untradeable, which... it's not ideal. I'm going to be completely honest, it's not ideal. It is kind of nice that, like, for example, here, there's the neon gas core, and you've got a load of these cores that are the old ones, like the Dark Halo is a big popular one. There is the neon gas cores again, which I'm super hype about. Probe neon gas, I really, really want to get. Like, the Probe Explorer is my favorite ship. I can't fly it at the moment, really, because I really want the nanocore for it, is basically what I'm saying. I can fly it, but the Astero still works out slightly better for me, whereas with that nanocore, suddenly the Probe Explorer would become my favoured ship. Now, the trouble with this is that, you know, I'm just kind of clicking these on and off to showcase what's available there for you. But basically, as I'm clicking those on and off, the problem with that is that it's 300 plex for a chance at the one you're looking for. So for me, I wanted to go for the Neon Gas Core, for example, for the Explorer. That's in this first crate, and you do get to choose it from here. So I could go all the way down and get the Probe Neon Gas Core. Oh, there it is. Oh, I want it so much. But it's 600 Aurum. Now, even with the discount cards, that's still more money than I have this month. I'm already completely broke for the month. I cannot afford to be spending money on nanocores. So as much as I want that probe, there is just nothing I can do for that. There's no safe way of getting it. Yeah, I can go 300 plex, but that's expensive and risky. I broke myself out on ISK, basically, trying for the chance of getting the one core I want. So I kind of like the fact that they've brought them back. I think that's a really positive step forward. I like the fact that you can apply these discount coupons. You see here I've got a 100 discount coupon on a purchase of 500, so being 600, this would actually only cost me 500. Trouble is, 500 is still more than I actually have. Maybe I should put my PayPal details in the description down below and see if anyone's kind enough to make a donation. Ultimately, this is a hit or miss thing. I think on one hand it's great that they've got the cores back, but I don't like the fact that it is more Aurum. That said, I also understand why it's Aurum, because otherwise if you made this all Plex, then you massively increase the demand for Plex, at which point the price of Plex shoots up as well and people complain about that. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, and as disappointing as it might be, I think that's just how we're going to have to settle it in our heads, that it would be damaging for the Plex market if we made all of these Plex. There is the possibility of getting it with Plex. It's just, it's a little bit annoying that it is Aurum. I don't know. Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below, and if you do seriously fancy donating some money for Benzie's getting a Probe Explorer Neon Gas Core Fund, let me know. Otherwise, though, everything else is pretty much the same here, other than the fact that we do now have an implant development section here. These allow you to upgrade the different implants that you can get. Obviously, these are color-coded. Green ones are useful for getting the green nanocores upgraded. Keep saying nanocores, implants, green implants, blue implants, purple implants, and golden implants. So I think we're kind of at the point now where we should probably be talking about these implants, right? Well, yeah, let's do that. If you open up your overview here and go into the new implants menu, we are now confronted with this menu. This is what we saw from the screenshots, and you can see all of the different implants here. Now, I am still getting my head around how this is fully going to work and how all of these materials come into play. If you have figured something out, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you think I've missed something, let me know in the comment section down below. And if I don't give a full, complete answer, scroll through the comment section and see if anyone else has. So implants now change how you play the game. You slot them into your character, not into a ship. So as you swap between different ships, you will have different implants. I don't know if you can have multiple active at one time, or if you have to swap between them. That remains to be seen, but let's have a look at what they do. So first of all, the Focused Crystal. This is the laser one. There are two laser ones, two for each weapon. Focused Crystal. Every time the laser's salvo hit lands on the target, the ship will obtain 2 levels of Focused Crystal effect, up to 5 levels, maximum 50 levels. All focused crystal effect will be lost if it fails to hit the target. Activating skills will consume its effect and gain temporary shield equal to the damage boost effect plus 50% shield HP. Focus crystal increases laser damage by 2%, requires all target turret fire to land on the target for full effect. This is really quite cool. It means basically that when you're using this implant, as long as you are focusing on one target, you are buffing up this sort of buff that you can then activate, and when you activate it, it will consume the effect and instead give you a massive amount of temporary shield. Now, you might be saying, well, it's an Amar ship. Why does it want temporary shield? Because you're already armor tanking, right? So it's going to give you a shield buffer that you can, the enemies are going to have to chew through before they can come back to it. And I like that as a tactical decision of when do I keep this damage buff up, or when do I consume that for the bonus shield. The second laser one is Pulse Crystals. Upon skill activation, the laser capacitor consumption increases by 150%, while laser damage increases by 30%, plus current capacitor capacity divided by total capacitor capacity, maximum 75%. So you can get an additional like 105% there to your damage whilst that's active. That's really quite nasty, but it is going to chew capacitor. You can then reverse the power. Upon skill activation, every 10 seconds, 20% of max shield is converted to 10% of maximum capacitor. That's really cool. So you're going to get 2 buttons on your overview. One of them allows you to activate this skill for additional damage at the cost of additional capacitor. The second buff will turn some of your shield into max capacitance, which is pretty sweet. Then we come to the railgun ones. First of all, Barrage Repression. First skill, Barrage Repression. Upon skill activation, cannon accuracy fall-off is reduced by 25... Oh no, sorry, this appears to be the cannon one, not railgun. Sorry, I am wrong on that. Yeah, it's cannons. Sorry, so when upon skill activation, cannon accuracy fall-off is reduced by 25%, while its activation time reduces by 6%, so slightly faster firing, but shorter range. During the activation, the cannon consumes 1 rapid-firing ammo every time it strikes. When the amount of rapid-firing ammo reaches 0, skill will be disabled. The ship can store up to 6 shots of rapid-firing ammo. Every 30 seconds, 1 shot will be loaded. So basically, while you're not having this active, you refresh your ammo 30 seconds per shot. Stacks up to 8 times. So you can stack 8 times the rapid firing ammo there over a period of 4 minutes. So it's 4 minutes to fully recharge. Then when you activate it, it is going to reduce your range but increase your activation time until you either deactivate it or you run out of the rapid fire ammo. Second ability is then Suppressive Fire. Upon skill activation, the enemy's movement speed is slowed down by 20% when the cannon lands a hit on the target, lasts 30 seconds. Now I hope that's not stacking, so it's not 20%, then you hit them again and it's 20%, because that's just insane if that's the case. But applying a 20% debuff is pretty sweet and actually quite terrifying. Now, the other cannon one is Sniping Technology. Don't worry, we'll go back to the railguns. Upon skill activation, every 5.5 seconds, 1 second at maximum level, 1 level of Sniping Technology is obtained up to 20 levels. All sniping technology effects will be removed after firing from any cannon, stopping sniping technology effects from stacking. Can't use this skill during warping, of course, and it increases the cannon tracking velocity by 5% per level. So what you kind of can do here is if you wait 5.5 seconds up to 20 levels, so that stacks whatever 5.5 times 20 is over that many seconds, then you will basically get this additional bonus when it comes to actually activating it. So let's just read through that again. 20 levels, it will be removed from the removed after firing from any cannon. And what does it do? So yeah, it just increases the cannon tracking velocity by 5% per level. So you can kind of stand still. This is very useful if you're using strike cannons and something gets under your guns, because you can just sit there, take a beating, score up 20 levels of this, and then get yourself 100% bonus to your tracking velocity in order to hit that target that has been orbiting you. It then have a secondary ability, Evasive Maneuvers. Upon skill activation, reduces your maximum flight velocity by 50% and reduces inertia modifier by 80%. Lasts for 20 seconds. The aim here is that it essentially allows you to warp away quickly. So that's pretty cool. I quite like that one. That is definitely not the overpowered sniping one that we saw originally from Melos. Looking at the railgun ones then, high power coil consumes 25 points of power to increase railgun damage by 5%, up to a maximum of 50%, lasts for 5 seconds. Every time a railgun uses salvo, 10 points of power will be obtained, so obviously you can hold up to a load of this. Then you can activate, so it requires all turrets to fire for full effect. You hit with a salvo, you gain a stack of power, 10 points of power. You can then consume those in 25 power blocks to increase the railgun damage for 5%, which is pretty sweet. Again, so the idea here is that essentially you hold steady and keep firing, then you activate this to give a quick one-shot burst over a 5-second period, kind of like a mini magnetic field stabilizer, but you power it up yourself based on how you're firing your guns. Or secondary skill, Ballistic Marker, marks a target. When the railgun salvo hit lands on it, 10 additional points of power will be obtained. The marking effect lasts for 30 seconds. So you can mark it kind of like with a hunter's mark, I guess, in World of Warcraft, and then when you hit, you gain 20 stacks of power instead, consuming 25 when you activate that high power coil for 5%. So basically, yeah, you're just kind of quickly hitting a target to build up that ability, and then you activate it to consume some of those charges, dealing extra damage. Salvo hit requires all turrets to land on the target, as we saw before. Then we have Thermal Circulation, the other railgun one. Upon skill activation, every time the railgun uses salvo, firing every gun it has, it will generate 6 points of heat. When heat exceeds 70, railgun damage will be increased by 10%. The effect will be removed when heat is under 70%. When it reaches 100% though, the activation time increases by 400%. The effect will be removed when the heat is reduced to 0. So the aim here is that you want to be firing at a target until you are generating 70 heat, and you want to make sure that you cool your guns a little bit between firing in order to maintain that buff. You need to be above 70 heat to get the buff, but if you hit 100, you slow your guns right down until you cool down. That is really cool. I like this one a lot. That's quite a fun little mechanic. Ultimately, can be obtained when the heat reaches 0. You can use overheat to immediately reach 50 heat, so just to quickly shoot back up to 50, so you're closer to that 70. Then we have the missile ones. Support projection switches between range extending missile and precision missile. The range extending missile reduces damage by 25%, but increases flight time by 3%. We then see the maximum of 30% there. I think that those maximums of 30% are as you upgrade the implant, by the way. Precision missiles, though, the damage reduces by 25%, and explosion radius reduces by 5%, maximum 50%, so much better as you get long range or ones that are good at hitting smaller targets. That's pretty cool. Hybrid charge effects for range extending missiles and precision extending missiles can be combined with other special missiles. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, and I don't know, the fact here is you've got an active ability that just switches between these modes. Does that mean you are always at a 25% reduction of damage with these particular modes? Or is there a neutral mode as well? It's not particularly clear there, and the hybrid charge seems to sort of combine it with other things as well. I'm not entirely certain what's going on with this one, if I'm completely honest, but I do really like the warhead charge one. Switches between... hang on. These are the same thing. This is why I'm getting confused. Is there any difference between those at all? No, it's just the same thing. That's wonderful. There should be a different one here that is supposed to be the electronic warfare ones. Okay, well, we'll come to that eventually later on. Bombard Tactics adds 3 level of bombardment tactics to all unlaunched drones or fighters, and the Bombard Tactics increase drone or fighter damage by 30%, maximum of 300%, reduces the effect by 1 level per attack hit. So you launch your drones, and after they've attacked 3 times, they've lost that damage buff, you're going to need to pull them back to your ship to go again. And some people have been pointing out that this is going to be amazing for sentries. Park yourself on top of your sentry, let it fire 3 times, then scoop it back up and relaunch it, fire 3 times. Yeah, I'm all for that. It means you're playing the game more active. It's not just, put the phone on the desk and walk away whilst everything dies. Evasive Maneuvers, max flight velocity for drones and fighters increases by 100%, lasting for 20 seconds. That also answers another question of where are the carrier implants? The drone implants are carrier implants. They are the same thing. It affects both of them. So this one, again, it's that idea that this is going to be useful for brawling and for using the, the sentry drones. Not so much for sort of a kiting build, because it's going to take a long time to get the drones into combat and then shoot back to you. But if you're in a brawling build and that's nice and up close and personal with your enemy, then that's really beneficial. We then should have another drone one around, which isn't on the list here. So it looks like we've got some minor bugs in today's update, of course. We have the remote armor. Targets under a restoration effect from remote armor repairers will increase all armor resistances by 1 to 10%. Upon skill activation, remote armor repairers will restore equal amounts of armor for the own ship, so you can actually restore your own armor by using this, and remote damage control as well. Upon skill activation, capacity consumption for remote armor repairer increases by 100%, and resistance effectiveness increases by a further 50%, lasting for 30 seconds. So you're going to use more capacitor, but it's good if, like, oh crap, they're taking a ton of damage, quickly hit the button, and it's the emergency panic button healing. A lot of healers have that in MMOs, glad to see that in Echoes. Then we have automatic defense. It's the shield one that's missing then, yeah, because this is the other drone one. Adds 1 level of automatic defense to all unlaunched drones or fighters. Automatic defense attacks from drones or fighters have a 5% chance of disengaging the target from all currently locked targets. Holy heck, we have ECM. That's terrifying. For every 45 seconds, this effect takes up to 1 times, reduces 1 levels of automatic defense after attacking. So basically, you use the skill to add a level of automatic defense, and attacks from drones or fighters have a 5% chance of disengaging the target. That's insane. That's really powerful for PvP. It allows you to basically use your drones as ECM drones, force your target to unlock. Micro-scrambling, secondary skill. Upon skill activation, drones attacking the target will be affected by 1 point of warp disruption effect, lasting for 30 seconds. So you can now use your drones as scrams. Well, not scrams, there's warp disruption. That's really, really powerful. I'm now looking at things like the Arbitrator Co-op and Covert Ops and thinking, wow, not only do I have the long point in the form of, you know, my long point, but I can actually launch a further 4 drones and get 4 more disruption on that. That's really cool. And if we tap view on this, you can see the upgrades and this full system here of how high they can go and what you can do with them by tapping onto the different skills here. So if we come out of this a second and have a look at, for example, the one that I'm mostly interested in, which is, I don't even use railguns, but I quite like this thermal circulation one. Let's have a look at it. So if you're using the maximum level version here, you can unlock all of the abilities. If it's the basic one, all you have is that thermal circulation, plus the ability to implant a few general units. And we'll talk about the general units in just a moment. As you come up, you can go onto the blue one. This will add other effects. Cryogenic armor passive skill. When heat is less than or equal to 30, all armor resistances on the ship increase by 20. So when you are nice and cold, before you reach the heat up effect with that particular implant, the resistances of the ship are higher. You can also go for precision calibration. When it's less than or equal to 30, the optimal range and accuracy fall off increase by 20, so you can start firing as you get in. You've got 2 more slots here for the general units. On the purple version, we then have thermal damage passive. After coil overheat occurs, it additionally increases railgun thermal damage by 300%, which is awesome. Or we can change that to all armor and hull resistance by 30% before finally we get that active skill if we have the full level 4 version of the core. So how do you get these nanocores? Well, there's, again, nanocores. How do you get these implants? Well, there are numerous ways. First and foremost, we've talked about the store already, that if we go into the, again, it's finding everything in this store these days, the Dormant Realm Exploration Supply, you can buy the direct cores there. If you want to go straight for a level 4 variant, you can for 2,750 Aurum. You then just pick which one you want out of the box here. If you just fancy a purple version, you can do that also directly here. Now, beyond this as well, there are the different upgrade materials. I'm not entirely certain how these work. I don't know if you can take a green implant and upgrade it to a blue implant and then upgrade it to a purple implant, or if you are just stuck with what you basically have, if that makes sense. You know, if you've got a green one, it stays at green. If you've got a blue one, it stays at blue, or if you can pass between them. Now, somewhere in here as well, there are, of course, it's the basic general, are these little things, general units. Now, general units can be plugged into your implants, and they do additional things as well. You saw those two little plus signs on the implant when we were having a look at it. Let's have a look. What if you were using one of the laser ones and you wanted to add an additional 19% damage boost effect to all of your heat sinks? Well, now you can, but it does come at the cost of a 30% reduction to the module activation time, so it doesn't last as long. You can then do the heatsink overheating boost, which this time around, again, it's activation time boost effect. They last for longer, but you get a longer cooldown, and there's a whole load of these for the different versions of the updates, everything from omnidirectional trackings to ballistic controls, drone damage, gyro stabilizers, shield booster output boosts, shield extenders, all this kind of thing. Lots of really cool stuff there that you can do using these new implants. So yeah, I probably will get myself a missile or drone implant here on Benzie and just have it as something that gives me some additional sort of defenses if I get caught whilst exploring, especially with like the Astero or the Stratios being a possibility there. And have a look through those and you can read what they all do. And if you want a better way of looking, you can go into the market. We can scroll down to the new implant section where you've got neural compilers, where you've got experimental implants. These are the cheap green ones. Not sure how we find these or get them yet, but they're there and you can read through what they do on all different units, and the general units are here at the bottom as well. And you can kind of see everything that you need to know about those different implants and general units, and there's some really cool stuff in here. I do strongly recommend taking some time to have a look through those if you're a combat pilot interested in seeing how this works. Now, if you are an industrialist, it's worth knowing that if you now go into Applied Science and then to Faction Tech and scroll all the way down, you will find Implant Invention here at the bottom. This is going to increase the research speed whilst also increasing the success rate of reverse engineering implants. Again, what do you need to make implants? Well, if we go into the Industry tab, and then when it opens, Reverse Engineering Jobs, there we are, and we go down to implants, we can have a look at these, and they require torn sleeper structures, focused crystal cores, and data core laser physics. Now, the data cores for laser physics, we know where to get those. Focused crystal cores, apparently you can get those on the market. I don't know where they drop though, and same with the torn sleeper structures. These apparently are the ships in the Dormant realm, so destroying these will get you that wreckage at the end. And that loops us nicely into the Dormant realm. Now, to find this, you'll notice it's not anywhere here on the standard overview. Instead, you're going to have to come all the way out, dock up at a station, and then tap Dormant realm on the right-hand side. Now, these have leaderboards. The leaderboards are based on how quickly you can complete them, and you can see here, there we are, Drade Moore, Catskull going through and having some fun there. That's really cool to see a lot of blue in there, people having fun. Really cool, and you can see the different types as well. There are 4 different ones, only 2 of them are unlocked at the moment, and if we tap on and enter in these, you'll see on the left hand side a load of different difficulties, ranging from 1 up to 10. These give different variants of loots, and first completion will get you a box with a load of crawler neural compilers, and then possible chance of getting experimental high power coil, or the warhead charge, or the third one, the automatic defense. So you've got 3 different implants that you can possibly get from this, and if you go up in the difficulty, then you find these others. Now, these look really cool, and you're going to need to sort of fleet up, grab some friends, and jump into one of these. And again, we've got like 4 different versions of these. Each of them have slightly differing rewards, different implants. Experimental barrage there, you can see experiment support projection, and the experimental armor support. So you've got those different ones you can grab here, and eventually when the other 2 arrive here, Law of the Deep and Imprisoned in Silence, you can see they've got different implants available for completing those. You can also have a quick look here at how to get these different bits of loot based on your completion times. So there, 40 minutes is the middle line there. 120 minutes is kind of your maximum. If you can do it in, I think that's going to be 30 minutes or less, you get the premium difficulty, and this goes all the way up to difficulty 10. You can see the different crates available here. And if we open these up, they're things like these different general units that you can use, different tier versions of those. If we scroll all the way through, just want to check that is all that's in here. Different general units. Lots of those to scroll through, lots of different options of what you could possibly get from this. Are we going to find anything else underneath, or am I just going to hit the bottom? Now, here we are. So then of some of the upgrades, you can get some ISK, some of the actual cores themselves, the different chain neurons, the compiler blueprints, torn sleeper structures, and there's some of the materials like the warhead charge core and things like that. So it looks like the reverse engineering materials for the implants are found, yep, there we are, by completing the different dormant realms. And you'd think I'd be super happy about this. I actually kind of am. I really like the look of Dormant Realm. I think it's really exciting. But what gets me is it is battleships. It is 100% battleships. From everyone I've spoken to who's gone into one of these already, you need battleships. So you take a fleet of like a Nightmare and then 3 Macariels, and you're pretty good for the whole thing. And that really disappoints me. That feels like such a missed opportunity to finally have some exclusive content for those of us who don't want to fly freaking battleships. I know, lots of people fly battleships, and you know what? If, for example, Tidal Lock was battleships, and then Before the Abyss was exclusively frigates, destroyers, or cruisers, I would be all over that. I think that is how this should have been. Sadly, it's not. It is straight up battleships again, and that is so disappointing to me. One of the things I was most excited about this patch was actually getting to fleet up with some friends and fly something, because I fly battle cruisers here on Silent Rose, and on Benzie I fly cruisers and frigates. I don't fly battleships on any character anymore. Like, I've skilled out of battleships because I got so bored of them. And it looks like if I want to take part in this, I'm going to have to go back to sodding battleships, and that is so disappointing. It's a personal thing perhaps, but I just feel like it's a real missed opportunity. There are so many of us at Tech 10 who don't want to fly battleships, and I know so many people at Tech 10 who don't want to fly battleships who are getting to the point where they're just going to unsubscribe and leave the game because there's no content for them anymore. There is nothing to do other than PvP at Tech level 10 with a battleship, and it's with smaller than battleship, and it's just so disappointing that this amazing opportunity has been completely lost. Though I don't want to end this video on a downer, so the final thing I'm going to showcase now is the new heads-up display, because I love this thing. So I'm going to undock here, and just look at that new heads-up display there at the bottom of the screen. You can see the Nanocore, and if you tap on it, it's still the zoom in and zoom out. Not allowing me to zoom in though, I don't know if that's a bug or what's going on there, but you've got your shield, armor, and hull on the outside, with an actual percentage marker permanently on display there, so you can see 100% shield. If I start activating some stuff here on the other side, you'll see capacitor is there on the right hand side. It's the blue bar. It's really smooth. I like how it looks. The percentage is easy to see. Flight velocity is nice and easy to see as well. You've still got your usual flight velocity modifier, thrusters and all that there, and of course we've still got the hide interface and screenshot button. On the right hand side, between that heads up display and the different modules, you will of course also get the new implant spots will fit there, their new abilities. If we open the overview, you can see some really cool stuff here around. This has now changed to be a bit more transparent, which I really like. I think that's really positive change. The new icons in the top left, you'll now notice you can have up to 4 shortcuts rather than just 3. Even the autopilot looks just super smooth and nice now, and I absolutely adore this visual change. Ultimately, this entire patch, I really enjoy this change. I think everything here is really cool. I think it's a lot of really positive upgrades, whether that's the implants, whether that's the dormant realms, whether it's the amazing new music. I think this is all really cool. What I don't like is the missed opportunity with the Abyssals, and I'm a little bit sad that I'm probably going to have to miss out on the Probe Neon Gas Core again, because I just don't have real life money to spare at this point in time, and it's going to be gone before we get back there, I feel. Anyway, folks, that's everything from me today. If you think I missed something, please comment down below. If there's a question I didn't answer, please check it out in the comment section down below as well. Other people may have answered it and asked those same questions. So yeah, I will be doing, of course, videos on more of this stuff as I get to grips with it. What you're witnessing here is basically I've jumped in on Benzie, I've had a look at everything. I've now jumped in on Silent Rose to have a look as well, and then to showcase it to you all there. So, hopefully that's been informative. Let me know what you think about this patch. Are you enjoying it? What's your favourite bit about it, etc.? Otherwise, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden!